Hey there, Tamir from FibonacciTraders.com here, daily market recap, November 8th, 2023. Like, subscribe, and let's see what SPY and Friends brought us today. Very tight price action, very unhealthy environment to trade in. As we can see, Doji below the 438 area. We have this red trend line with the 438 area and this gap. Very tough resistance area. It was resistance over here, very tough one. It was a very tough resistance over here. It was a very important area of support. Now, by natural things of price action, very tough resistance. Let's check the 65 minutes time frame. Each candle represents 65 minutes. And as we can see, very tight price action. We have a slight higher highs, higher lows since Friday, but as long as this area will stay a very difficult resistance, and as long as bulls will fail to break and close above this area, it's a very dangerous environment to trading. QQQ also closed the day with a doji, very tight price action. Look at this body of the doji, very tight price action, very unhealthy environment. Not surprising after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive days to the upside. Bulls are taking a rest. Why price is here? Look left. It was the high of October. Also, support over here and here, resistance. Draw a line. You have this line. And look left. By looking left, you can clearly see why price is now where it is. And we have a trend line that broke to the upside. Now, from resistance to support. Let's see continuation up and above. Next resistance area will be the 378. Dow Jones continuing to struggle with this trend line, this green trend line since peak of July. Lower highs, very difficult area of resistance, as you can see in the past 4 days. But the good side is 340 is holding. Bulls are fighting to hold the 340. Below it, this gap will get filled, and then 336 to the downside will become the next support. Below it, 333 gap also will get filled. Uptrend continuation, and we will see the 344 area getting filled. IWM, another day, another relative weakness on the Russell 2000. Close the gap over here, and as we say, more than 85-90% of all gaps will get filled. Now this gap got filled. Next support will be this gap at the 166. If bulls will not catch breath and close above the 170, this gap will get filled, and we will see 162 once again to the downside. If bulls will come into the play and come back, next resistance will be the 175. And if you are a pattern trader, you can clearly see left shoulder, head, and maybe what will be the right shoulder of an inverted head and shoulders. But as we all know, patterns are not reliable. This is why Fibonacci traders, we don't rely on patterns. What we rely on is candlestick analysis, trend lines, Fibonacci, and that's it. And gaps. Where you see gaps, embrace that more than 85% chance that this gap will get filled, and it doesn't matter where the gap is. Close or a bit further to the downside or to the upside. Bitcoin, very bullish candle, as we can see. For now, 2.5% to the upside. 35,200 now from resistance to support. Looks like Bitcoin is heading towards this upper red trend line, breaking above it, and we will see the 39 to the upside. Ethereum also 1.7% to the upside. This red trend line is the next resistance, 1890. This area from resistance now becomes support. Very nice bullish action on cryptos. Crude oil continuing its way to the downside. Let's check the 4 hours time frame and you will see why it's super important to zoom in, zoom out to get a better point of view of price action. On the 4 hours, we can clearly see downtrend channel now broke to the downside. Next is the 74, then 72 to the downside. NG1 natural gas futures. On the daily, it looks like this. Also, not a pretty sight for bulls. Next is the 3. Below 3, 285. Below the 285, and we will close this gap at the 267. And we have another gap to the upside at the 345. No open gaps on futures. Embrace it. If you see a gap on the futures, doesn't matter which futures is it, NG1, CL1, Nasdaq futures, ES1, the SPX futures, these gaps 100% will get filled. SOXX with a doji still struggling with this trend line. This trend line started peak of August, and since then very tough resistance for price action. And as we can see also in the past 4 days, 471.80 holding a support. Below it, this gap will get filled. Below the 464, this gap will get filled. A weekly close above the 481, and we are heading towards this gap at the 503. And as you can see, Fibonacci gives us everything that we need for support, resistance, for future price action. And you can also take another trend line over here. And as we can see, trend lines also gives us the way for future price action above this trend line, and we are heading towards this area over here. It might do something like this. Break up, retesting, closing here, and then the 516 area together with this red line. But we are not here to predict the futures. We are here to follow price and use Fibonacci and trend lines and gaps, of course, to identify with the highest probability where price might be heading next. What will be if price will break above the 472? What will be if price will break and close the weekly above the 482? This is our job. We are risk managers. We are not magicians. We are not here to predict the futures. Microsoft, another day, another all-time high close. 360 from resistance. Now support. Next resistance is the 367. Where price of Microsoft might be heading next above the 367? Take Fibonacci. Fibonacci will let you know where is the next support and resistance. Support, as we can clearly see, 358, 359 area. Above the 367, we are heading 378 and then 393. Apple with a doji, but continue its way to the upside. 180 from a tough resistance. Now, by natural things of price action, from resistance, it will become support. Next resistance is the 184.40. Above it, a weekly close above the 184. In my opinion, next week 190 gap will get filled. Amazon taking some breath with an inside day, inside doji, which represents indecision in the market. 139 is the support. Next resistance, 145. And if we zoom out to the weekly time frame, we can see, if you're a pattern trader, inverted head and shoulders. But once again, do not rely on patterns because patterns are not reliable. Follow price. Use Fibonacci, ATR, trend lines to manage your risk. Sounds complex? Not so. Check the links in the description below. Choose your path to become a consistent, profitable trader. We have numerous paths that you can choose from. Meta, holding the 316. Next resistance, 328. This box, look at the weekly time frame. This red box, holding price inside in the past 3 months already. Major move is incoming. Depends where. Breaking below, and we are heading, in my opinion, to the 221. Breaking above, and in my opinion, 364 and then 432. AMD, in the past 4 days, stuck between the 111 and the 115.70 to the upside. A long continuation above it towards the 121. Below 111, and we will see 106 to the downside. Tesla closed the day, zero movement. 219 still holding a support. Resistance, very difficult one, as you can see in the past few days, the 228. Long continuation for Tesla, breaking above, weekly close above the 228, and we will see the 242 air gap will get filled next week, and maybe all the way towards this red trend line once again below the 219 weekly close, and we will see next week this gap at the 205 getting filled and back to this lower trend line. Google 0.66 to the upside today, still struggling. 618 Fibonacci level, not surprising. We had a downtrend, bounce of a trend line, broadening formation, very big broadening formation on Google. 618 Fibonacci retracement. It's all about trend lines. Fibonacci continuation above it, and we will close the 137 gap. Netflix, 3 consecutive dojis inside this red trend line to the upside. Bulls of Netflix looks like getting weaker and weaker, which is pretty obvious after this major gap to the upside post earnings, and then all the way to 436. Look left. All this area, very important area, very difficult area of resistance. Pretty healthy if Bulls of Netflix will take some breath, going back to the 420 area. No need to guess. Take Fibonacci. Swing low, swing high. This resistance, and then 451. Clean the chart. And then this gap to the 468. 428 now is the support. Below it, 420 with this lower border of this channel. Nvidia continue its way to the upside. Now broke above and close above this red line. Finally, as we can see, we can make it a little bit more accurate. Closing above it. Now this area, the 458 area, together with this red trend line, needs to hold the support. Next, 477. Shopify with 1.7% to the upside, finally breaking up above and closing above this white trend line. 60 now is the support. Next is the 64.80. It all comes down. Fibonacci, trend lines, and of course, pure price action, reading, candlestick analysis on multi-time frames. And as you can see, Shopify also on the weekly broke above a downtrend channel. This downtrend channel since May, lower lows, lower highs, broke above 64 is next. And then we are heading towards the 61. Check the links in the description below. Choose your path to become a better trader, profitable, consistent trader. Choose your path for financial freedom. Take care of your money. No one else will do it for you. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, like, subscribe, share with friends. 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time every trading day. We are going live. Pre-market preparations. So hit the notification bell. Until then, stay safe.